goes without saying, but I'll say it for emphasis, the good work of TBW, the world's best meeting and planning firm. We have gathered here today to pay recognition and homage to an extraordinary public and private official. I'm going to bring on Anthony Griffin, a loyal and stalwart member of NASP, who is going to give and introduce the Pacesetter Award and the Pacesetter Award recipient.
It's my distinct pleasure to present a Pacesetter Award to Paul Williams, Jr., the President and Chief Executive Officer of the Dormitory Authority of the State of New York, or DASNY as it's known. DASNY is one of the largest issuers of tax-exempt debt in the country. In his public service, Paul has been fiercely committed to promoting and expanding diversity. When in 2008 he was appointed chairman of the task force to increase the utilization of minority and women-owned business enterprises and state debt offerings, Paul widened the focus of the task force to include legal services as well as diversity among majority-owned firms seeking state contracts. His efforts led to legislation extending the provisions of Article 15A to all professional services, including legal services, and to the adoption of diversity as a factor in evaluating potential state services providers and vendors.
You know, I'm rarely at a loss for words, but that was very special. I want to thank NASP and Tony for the introduction, and truly blessed and honored to receive this Pacesetter Award. Well, I finally traced back and discovered the seed of my sense of purpose and activism. You know, I came from an activist family. Both my mother and father very active in the civil rights movement, and I grew up in the civil rights era. And all that was very important. But some of you know I was actually born in Trenton, New Jersey. But then early in my life, I think the treasurer is here, from St. Louis, I spent time as a young boy being raised in St. Louis, Missouri. A few years, as I was a child in St. Louis, a few years before all the great legislation, before all that great civil rights era legislation was enacted, a few years before that, when racial segregation was still an official experience in much of our great country. As a boy of 5 years of age, I went to the city pool. And I went with at the time, my two older sisters, and we met some friends there. And we lined up, a whistle blew, and we all jumped into the pool. And this city pool was filled with black boys and girls, basically almost side by side. Could hardly turn around, but we enjoyed the water. We were splashing, we were having fun. Then 45 minutes later, whistle blew again. Everybody out of the pool. We marched out of the pool, and as we marched out of the pool, another group of people lined up to get into the pool. They were of a little lighter hue. They got in that pool and they stayed the whole day. They had the rest of the time. We had 45 minutes, and the other group had all day. And I think then, in the back of my mind, a strong, strong feeling came over me. And I thought to myself, you know, if I ever get to run this pool, I said, if I ever get to manage this pool, I'm going to make sure it's open for everybody all the time. All right? So that's a sense of where some of my passion for what we do comes from. And the journey and the work, Gene, is not over. And it may never be over. But that's not bad, because the things that you do at NASP, and I do want to congratulate NASP on this conference. I want to congratulate you for what you do, for the importance that you show and demonstrate for the industry, because the industry needs us. They need you. the country needs us and needs you. So I'm happy to accept this award, and I want to say, just in closing, I know Orem and the Board of Directors and all your committee chairs and members, keep doing what you're doing, maybe even redouble what you're doing, but understand that people like myself who are in public service, we appreciate it, but we also need you. We need you making your policy points. We need you coming to us as an organization, not as individual entrepreneurs. And we need you to rattle that cage every now and then, throw a brick every now and then if you have to, even at us, because I know how to duck. But it's very important. So again, I'm delighted for the recognition, and thank you so much for thinking of us.